The Matlab documentation is a helpful resource to refer to while you're programming. This resource is accessible from within the Matlab software. It's also available online through the Matlab website. If you're ever looking for more information about the built-in function, you can usually find it by searching through the documentation. Here you'll find things about what's the purpose of a function, what are the data types associated with the input and output variables. You scroll down, you'll usually find some code examples about how to use a function. And all the way at the bottom, you'll find links to the documentation for other closely related functions. As you first get used to reading the documentation, it might be difficult to understand what's being described, but it's a good idea to learn more about it because it'll make your life much easier in the future. Let's go ahead and look at some simple ways of getting started on using the documentation. The Matlab documentation can be accessed from within the development environment by clicking on the Help item of the menu bar. Then, click on Documentation. This will bring up a brand new window. Initially, there are links displayed to resources about the various products you have available, including the Matlab core library. If I click on this link, it will bring up a page of resources, from everything from just getting started with Matlab up to much more advanced ways to use the software. If you're new to programming, this is a good page to check out. These resources go into a lot more detail and explanation about general purpose programming than I could ever individually provide on the Hack Audio blog. Additionally, if you have the signal processing toolbox, you can click on this link to find out resources about this product. A common way to use the documentation is for its search feature here in the top right. This is where we can search for information about the built-in functions of Matlab. As an example, let's say we're working on some code to synthesize a signal. We'd like to find out information about how to use the square function. We can type in the name of that function and then press return. This will bring up a page of links for things related to what we've searched for. At the top, we have a link specifically for the square function. The format and layout of the page we see here is very similar to what we find for almost all the other built-in functions with Matlab. At the top, we have the basic syntax for how to use the function. Next, we have a description of what does this function do, what are the data types for the input and output variables. Next, we have some examples about how to use this function in the context of other code. Finally, here at the bottom, we'll see links to resources and the documentation for other closely related functions. As an example, if we're working on the square function, we might also be interested in looking at the sawtooth function. So I can click on this link, find a very similar kind of resource to we looked at before. So those are the basic things about using the built-in documentation. It's a helpful resource for looking at how to incorporate the built-in functions into your code that are part of Matlab.